Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing hot cross buns. Everybody loves the hot cross bun, but I bet you didn't know how they were made, or better yet, how easy they are, and that they taste so much better if you make them yourself. Well, let me show you how it's done. In my jug I have 7 fluid ounces of milk and 2 ounces of butter, which I'm going to warm up in the microwave until the butter has melted. I'm going to let it cool for a minute or two before I use it. Let my butter and my milk melt in my microwave, and I'm giving it a bit of a whisk. I'll show you what I've got in my bowl. So in my bowl I have 12 ounces of self-raising flour, 1 packet of instant dried yeast or instant action dried yeast. I've got a teaspoon of mixed spice and half a teaspoon of cinnamon, because I like cinnamon. And I've got an ounce of sugar. And to that, I'm going to add the zest of an orange. Got me grated, and I'm that way inclined. And I'm just going to grate the zest into my mix here. It's optional, this one, so if you don't want to put it in, feel free not to. So don't forget that the zest isn't the white bit, just the bit on the outside. We don't want any white bits in there. And then we're going to mix those ingredients together. While that's mixing, I'm going to add my milk and my butter gradually. Now this will be a sticky mixture, I'm afraid. There's no way around it. You may need to add a little bit more flour later, but be careful. In the meantime, I'm going to mix this until it all comes together into a nice squishy mess. While my mix is having a little break, it's getting a little warm with all the work it's doing. I thought I'd tell you a little bit about hot cross buns. Well, they are traditionally made on a Good Friday, but the hot cross bun recipe as we know it today didn't come around until around about the Victorian time, as with most things. That's when the introduction of sugar came in and so forth. But previous to that, they go back as far as the Greeks, really, when they used to make a fruited bread with a cross on top. It predates Christianity quite by some distance, and some people even say it dates back to when we were all pagans. So a monk in St Albans used to make something similar to this in, I think it was the 15th century, when he used to give them out to the poor and what have you. And they were banned in Elizabeth I's reign and could only be eaten on Good Friday. If you made them before then, forfeited to the poor. It had quite a history, the hot cross bun, and it doesn't necessarily symbolise what you think it does either. That's doing that. I'll just tell you a little bit about where the recipe came from. Now it came from this book here, A Concise Encyclopedia of Gastronomy, and this is section 4. It's been split into sections, there's that much of it, and this is cereals, and it goes over a lot of cakes that were made back in the day. Now this was done in, let me have a look, this book was first published in 1945. However, this particular recipe was a recipe from Country Recipes of Old England by Helen Eden in London, from Country Life magazine, that was published in 1929. So this one goes back as far as 1929, this recipe. Needs to keep, you need to knead it for about 10-15 minutes. Let the gluten start to form. Once your dough has been kneaded for about 10 minutes, and it's in a lovely nice neat ball, it's time to let it rest for about an hour and a half. Cover it with a bit of cling film or a warm towel and just leave it to rest. It's been 2 hours since I put my dough to rise. It took a little bit longer because it is a cold day today. My dough has doubled. So now I'm going to knock it back and I'm going to incorporate an egg. Let's see. Pop that in. Oh, here they are coming out now. Here we go again. Everything changes but you. So true. Anyway, moving on. Now it's on. 1 large egg going in, so let's see how we get on with that. It'll take a minute. This is what the recipe said, incorporate it like this, so that's what I'm doing. It's on slow, so we'll see how it goes. I would put it in sooner, but the recipe said to put it in later, so hey. Let's see if we can beat this in a different way. Switch to a spoon. Easier. So, as you can see, it is gradually going in. It does take a minute, I've got to say. Start it off with a wooden spoon. Right, while my mixer's doing a little bit more mixing, I thought I'd read you this. I found it quite funny actually. English folklore, excuse me reading from my phone here, includes many superstitions surrounding hot cross buns. One says that buns baked and served on Good Friday will not spoil or grow mouldy during the subsequent year. Yeah, I bet. Another encourages keeping such a bun for medicinal reasons. I can understand that one, you know, spices and so forth are good for you in many different shapes and forms. So yeah, I can get with that one. Where are we? Oh yeah, a piece of it given to someone who is ill is said to help them recover. Again, I can get behind that. If taken on a sea voyage, hot cross buns were said to protect against shipwreck. Yeah, that's a bit like the old ladies bearing the breast at the front of the ship, isn't it? They're said to protect against fire and ensure all breads turn out perfectly. The hanging of bun is replaced each year. That's just a few ideas behind hot cross buns. Regardless of anything, they are tasty items to have, especially toasted with a bit of butter on the top. When you get to this stage and it's coming back together again, it's time to add 3 ounces of dried fruit. Mixed dried fruit. That's got dried peel in it as well, so we're going to give that a good mix.
A few moments later.
Once you have mixed it right in, we're going to leave it to rise again for another hour. So I'm going to take this off, put some cling film over it and leave it to rise for another hour. So my dough's been rested now for at least an hour and a half. I've put the oven on to gas mark 8. I have lined a baking tray and I'm about to roll out my dough. It has more than doubled in size. And I'm going to make things a bit easier, because this will be quite sticky with the addition of the egg, I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my work surface, on my hands, because I don't want this to stick to me. And I'm going to empty my dough, or turn my dough out, knock it back and turn it out onto my work surface. The oil will stop it sticking to my hands, she says. Hopefully. So that's that. And then just give it a little knead. Make sure that the distribution of the fruit is pretty even. And what I'm going to do now is get out a weighing machine. The reason why I'm going to weigh this is because I want them to cook evenly. And without weighing them, it's going to be very difficult to do that. A cling film on my scales. Okay, cut it in half. Down the middle. Easier. Down the middle again. Let's see what that weighs. So just keep going until you've got it all about the same.
1 eternity later.
So they're within grams of each other. They weighed out at round about 110 grams each, give or take, the current two. And I'm just going to give them a little knead on their own, and I'm going to place them into my tray to prove for a wee while. Not for long. What we're aiming for, these feel lovely and moist. You don't want them to be too dry. If they're too dry, you'll end up with rocks. And you don't want rocks. Alright, if they're touching, that's good. It'll help to make them look more professional. So if you like what I'm doing, feel free to hit me with a like and a subscribe, that would be great. 90% of the people who watch my videos don't actually subscribe to it, so if you would, that would be nice. If not, then that's no problem either. It doesn't cost anything. And if you want to see any more of my videos with a little bit of history behind them, just hit this link up here. And we're going to leave them for about half an hour just to prove So while my buns are proving for the last time, I'm going to make the paste that goes on the top, and that is basically just some flour and water. So I've got 3 tablespoons of flour, bread flour, in my bowl here, and I'm gonna add enough water to make it into a paste. So I've added 3, so that's the equal quantity for now, 3 tablespoons of that. I'm going to keep adding until I get a nice consistency that will pipe. It used to be years ago that they would actually use short crust pastry, but we don't do that now. We use this method. It takes quite a bit of water as well by the looks of it, so we're going to keep on running. So just depending on where you live and your humidity in your area, it will depend how much fluid you need to add to this. So I'm not going to give you a quantity of fluid. Just keep going till it's smooth. So the next part of this is that we pipe across on the top. Taking a piping bag that you've already put your paste into, please be careful with this, guys. It could cause mess. Chop off the end. And then working along the way, we're going to make a cross. And just go down the line. And then the next one. And then the next one. It doesn't have to be perfect. And when you've done that, do them the other way. And yes, if you're like me, you'll get it everywhere, because I'm good that way. And we're going to let this set for a minute or 2 before we do anything else. I'm going to put them in the oven on gas mark 8 for 15 minutes. I'll put the electrics across the bottom there for you. So after 15 minutes, your buns come out the oven, and you just need to take your glaze, which is 2 tablespoons of sugar melted into boiling hot water, then left to sit for a minute or 2 so that any granules that are left fall to the bottom, and then brush your buns with your glaze. It's very satisfying, I have to say. It's very good. And there you have your buns.